Hey guys, welcome back to Dive In Deep in Thought. You hear the lies, and today I want to talk to you guys about a topic that is diving a bit deep, actually. Yeah, it is. I want to talk about icebergs and how icebergs are sort of similar to us. Now you're probably thinking, nah, I'm not like an iceberg. I'm warm, I'm caring, I'm loving, I have a family, I have a car, I've actually got a job, I make money. An iceberg just floats there and moves around. Nah, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. Well, hear me out. Before you make any big judgments or get out of this video, just hear me out for 1 second. So, icebergs just float around, right? They're just a big piece of ice. And approximately 10 or 11% of them are above water. So that makes 89 to 90% is submerged under the water. Nobody can see it. Only the fish, not the birds. So this iceberg is floating and we're seeing the top of it and we're going, wow, an iceberg. But in reality, the beauty of an iceberg is under the surface. So you're probably thinking, well, how does this still relate to me? Doesn't make sense. Well, I like to correlate it to us in this way, and bear with me. Our human bodies are a very small percentage of who we really are. So you've got the human body and you've got the human spirit. The human body is, well, what you physically see. It's mortal, it's here. We've got the 5 senses, we engage in activities, and we're seeking pleasure or pain, and it's hard, it's a test. We're constantly fighting either the elements or whatever it is that we're fighting on a daily basis, whether it's anxiety. But then there's this other aspect of us humans, and it's the human spirit. Now, if we relate back to the iceberg, our human body could be the 10% that's exposed. Everyone can see it. Anyone can see it from above. Anyone. The whole world can see the top of them, and they can physically see what it looks like. So that's the part of the iceberg that's showcased. But there's this other element that's beneath the surface, that's deeper, that's actually molded by the water. The iceberg's in water. So the underside of the icebergs, actually, it's beautiful. It's illuminating. It's so much more beautiful than the part that's above the surface. And that's very similar to us, because with us, we tend to have all of our most beautiful attributes, ones that can't be measured, can't be seen, but they are constantly, like the iceberg, being molded. As the water flows and shapes the underside of this iceberg that's submerged, it creates this beauty, this glass-like, luminescent. You've got to see it. You've got Google, after this video, Google underside of iceberg, and you will see how beautiful they are. But it's very similar to us. But the spiritual aspect of a human, of course, and you're probably thinking, oh, I don't think it's bigger. Well, this iceberg represents us, the human in total. The part that's exposed is the physical component of us, our mortal bodies. The part of the iceberg that's under the surface represents the human spirit. The human spirit. So it's your soul, your faith in yourself, your inner faith, your self-esteem. It's everything, your intelligence. It's every single thing that people cannot see about you without you speaking. And that's what's underneath the water. Now, it's very important that when we look at the human spirit side of things, which is the bigger part of us, and I'll explain to you why it's the bigger part. So the physical body can do so much. We can work, we can obviously go from place to place, we interpret everything. So, it's a conduit it's a reception of information, and we respond. We need to speak, we see, we touch, we hear, we smell. We do all of that. But these senses are cultivating, are taking in information, are taking in data. They're like antennas for information that I believe is meant to cultivate the spirit, the human spirit. And the reason for that is the human spirit can do 1,000 times more, or can have 1,000 times more resistance, or if not 1,000,000 times more resistance than the physical body. So if we're living this Epicurean or pleasure-seeking lifestyle, what we're doing is, obviously we're experiencing pleasure, but we're losing part of the human spirit in experiencing that pleasure. We're losing a part of us. We're giving that away to that particular pleasure. For example, if you drink and you get drunk, and then you are hungover the next day, the drinking went for 3-4 hours. You physically put alcohol down into your body, and you got drunk. You had a good time, 3-4 hours. It was good. That was the pleasure part. Now the other side, you're hungover, or every single thought after that night, you're like, oh, do you remember that time when we got smashed and, I felt like crap afterwards, and each time I feel like crap, That's eating away at your spirit. I'm not saying don't drink, I'm saying in moderation. So the spirit needs to be cultivated by monitoring how we physically live, and understanding that the physical world is reception, or is a receptor to the environment, to the data downloads from a divine being into our bodies. We take it in. It's meant to cultivate our spirit so that our spirit builds a purpose. Our purpose grows on. Now, a good example of this is Thomas Edison. Now, Thomas Edison is the inventor of many different ideas and items, but the main thing that he's known for is the light bulb. He created the light bulb. Now, thinking about a light bulb is unbelievable. You're turning nothing into something, right? This, who thinks of a light? Like, it doesn't even come to your mind. Let there be light. Artificial light. It's crazy. So Thomas Edison, he attempted 10,000 times to get the light bulb. Now, in saying that wasn't he wasn't seeking pleasure. He wasn't seeking attention. He wasn't egotistical about this. He wasn't looking for self-gratification from this. His human spirit, he cultivated something that was bigger than him, that was serving more than him. And when you look at the human spirit, what it tends to do when you cultivate it so well is, when your human spirit is bigger, it creates an influence. So your physical body is influencing. People can see you and they make an image of you. But when you have a cultivated spirit, people will start to feel you from a distance. People will start to notice something about you that's beyond you. And that will be channeled into ways, creative ways, if you channel them that way, to help others. So Thomas Edison, although he just created a light bulb, when you just say light bulb, you'll be like, what? It's just a light bulb, because you're taking it for granted. But actually, every single person on this earth uses a light bulb, or has seen a light bulb, or at some point in their life, and that has allowed for other inventions to take place. So his influence, his spiritual influence on this world is still living on. So although 10,000 times he failed, the 10,001st time is the reason we have light today. And that is the human spirit, if you cultivate it properly. And cultivating the human spirit is not letting the physical world, or letting the pleasures take, or the it could be, I'm not just going to say pleasures. Let's say the environment. You get bad media. You get people who break you down, who tell you you're not good enough, you're not well. This is the waves under the surface, eating away at that iceberg. But the iceberg maintains 90%, no matter how small the top gets, the bottom is always bigger, which is the spirit is always bigger than the person. But the moment you are defined by your physical body or your physical accomplishments, and you're not cultivating that spirit that should fuel the physical body, because the physical body is like a conduit and the spirit is the source. So your body is like a funnel and the spirit is feeding into that funnel. and how it's channeling down the bottom, and the size of the spirit flowing through the bottom is how receptive you are to something bigger than you. It must be bigger than you. It can't be just you. If you're just pleasure seeking and day in, day out, you're only going to define yourself in the moment. So it's very important that we be like the iceberg, beautiful on the inside, not letting the parts of us that are seen define who we are. Because that's what we're doing when we're looking at an iceberg. We're looking at the top, we're just saying it's a piece of ice that's like, in my cup of Coke. But in reality, if you dive under the water, if you get under that surface and you really see what's there, it is so bloody magnificent, and it is so good to cultivate that human spirit, because that is what is going to propel you forward. That is on the bad days, in the bad events, in anything that goes wrong in your life. It's the human spirit that says, you know what, in this physical world, you're not defined by that 9,999th mistake. 10,000 mistakes. Have you made 10,000 mistakes at anything? Your mistakes and your ability to fail and deal with failure and deal with situations will directly tell you how big your spirit is. And just think about Thomas Edison. How big was his? How big was his spirit? How much did he cultivate? Self-belief. Self-belief. You can't measure what he used. You can't even see. His spirit was probably bigger. He created so many things, so many inventions. He revolutionized the way we live today. His influence, his spiritual influence still lives on. His physical body is gone. Notice, the mechanism that his spirit worked through is gone. But his creation lived through the test of time. His ideas and the spirit that backed those ideas and the execution of those magnificent ideas led to that. And someone's spirit is going to be their legacy, what they're remembered for. So it's very important to build up your spirit, because that's what people are going to remember, and that's what people are going to think about. In times that are tough, in times where we feel defeated, we always look back in time and we look for people who persevered. And there's only a few people. In the scheme of 7.8 billion people on earth, there's a very, very few. But these are the people that have set an example. They've set a precedent to show us that the human spirit can achieve anything as long as we don't degrade it, eat at it, and jeopardize it in a way that we're beating each other down. Build each other's spirits up. So next time you see someone, see an iceberg. See that you're only seeing the top. And what you say to them is going to cultivate the spirit, because that's the thing you don't see. But that's the thing we need to nurture in ourselves, so that all of our spirits can grow, and every iceberg is truly beautiful, like the one that's in the water and that you don't notice. So thank you for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you believe someone else would like to be explained or compared to an iceberg, let them know. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell me if you like this video. If not, I can't really do anything about it because it's done now, but give me an alternative. If you don't like it, it must have affected you in some way, which is good, but then let me know what you do want to hear, and I'm happy to go through that. So thank you very much, and see you later.